So welcome, Jordan.
Joseph?
How are you, my friend?
Good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. And apparently we're going to have a couple, well, three people follow us on here and watch this video today. So I guess we should explain what's going on, shouldn't we?
I definitely think we should.
Okay, so we want to welcome you guys to our first ever podcast, and we like to call it the Burnt Out Educator. That name will probably change 150 times before we're done, but both of us are involved in education. I'm the burnt out teacher, Jordan's the burnt out tech guy, and we're going to tell you how to make your lives a little easier.
We should do the old educational approach of going through the 5 W's and then end with the how. Let's go with the what and the who. So, who are you? Tell me a little bit of your background, what's going on, and again, what is this podcast? What are we talking about?
All right, so the who's easy for me, okay? I'm the traditional burnt out teacher. I'm the guy who got wheeled out in an ambulance out of the high school, coaching 3 sports, head coach of 2 sports, 3 preps, 13 hours a day, 7 days a week. You come home, you're still grading, you're still working. I got 5 kids, I got 6 grandkids. I did it all. I got taken out. My wife and doctor come into the hospital room, and this tells you my sense of humor too. So we got to address this. When I was in the nurse's office, hooked up to all the wires, thinking I'm having a heart attack, my sense of humor is I told them to take me to the Burger King drive-thru for a double Whopper with bacon and cheese. Needless to say, didn't go over well. And they're like, Joe, something's got to give. Nobody in a million years thought I'd walk away from teaching. So that brings us to the what. I am an educational consultant with Bright Thinker, and my job is to teach people how to make teaching and their life go hand in hand, and how to make it simpler so we can have more time to do what we want as far as teaching the students that need it and spending time with our family without having to sacrifice either one. So that's my why, and that's my what. Now, Jordan, you're on a complete different end of the spectrum. So where are you at here with this, the whole technical side?
So from the technical side, I've always been a problem solver. I wanted to do all sorts of different things in my career. Currently, that's led me into education, but from working with student information systems, learning management systems. And the question is, okay, what does that have to do with teaching in general? Everybody really doesn't want to go digital. Everybody likes paper. Everybody likes having that personal connectivity, those interpersonal communication. In the public education sector, you have all those team opportunities, projects, sports, whatever. It's the kind of the same thing when people are going, well, can we go digital? I don't know. And I come from the perspective of your kids are already digital. I don't even know how many of their friends they may or may not have met before when they're online playing League of Legends, when they're online playing Fortnite or whatever. They're talking to their friends more via text than they might do in person. So in terms of digital, it's already here. So the question is, how can we actually use it? I came at it from a variety of different background systems. But at the end of the day, going into Bright Thinker, for me, it was all about the content. With where I came from with those other systems, I had to understand how to make things easier for teachers, how to automate getting kids into seats, how to make it easy to use tools. All those different gadgets that people can use are great, but at the end of the day, unless you have something that a kid is actually engaged with, good content, they're not going to stay in the seat. And so for me, Bright Thinker, I came into this going from a perspective of, I have all these tech stuff, but what curriculum pairs that together? That's where I came at Bright Thinker from a tech side of, I need data to measure whether or not kids are successful. And if you can pair that in such a way that all the actual grading aspects of that are automated, teachers get back to teaching. They can focus on answering those questions, recognizing when they come up. Bright Thinker.
That's definitely the most technical what that I've ever heard. And that's exactly why you're the king of tech. Everything you said, though, about Bright Thinker is 100% true. Because our job here is just to teach people. We want to teach people, whether it's our product, another product, any product. We want to give tips and helpful resources on a regular basis. So, you're the tech guy. I'm the teacher. What's the other W's?
The other W's are where, when, and why. With where, well, personally, I'm actually on the West Coast, even though I was from the East Coast like you. Normally, you can find our stuff on YouTube, Facebook, but with all those different mediums, those links will include in the different descriptions below.
So are we calling us a podcast, a webinar, or a podinar? What are we?
We're burnt out. We don't have an answer.
So I come from Jersey, and now I'm in Texas. You come from New Hampshire, now you're in Arizona. Pretty much we can cover the entire world, and we have all the accents to go with it, so we're good.
It's true.
Okay. So we, as educators, you being a technical genius, I'm supposed to be the one teaching people. We had to look up what bi-weekly meant and got two different definitions. So we want to show it. We're going to go bi-weekly, so every other week, so twice a month, right? And what did the definition say?
It said twice a month, twice a week. It could be either. You choose.
So twice a month, we're going to be on here. We don't want to say bi-weekly because we just want to say every other Wednesday, but then it might be Tuesday, it might be Thursday, but twice a month, and don't worry, we'll do enough pub about it to let people know. Our idea is we'll be on LinkedIn a lot. We'll be on YouTube a lot. Facebook and Twitter, that'll be handled by some of our other staff and our other friends who are in the business who'll show up here every now and then. But it's really going to be just me and Jordan talking about how we're going to fix the world. We might not come up with an answer, but, that's a good one. So what do we got? Who, what, when, where?
Why?
All right, so my why's easy. I'm a little older than you. I know I look younger than you. I'm just kidding.
It's true.
I know that I can pass for 25. I know. But anyway, I'm old school. And where I grew up right outside of New York City on the Jersey side. My backyard was the view of the Twin Towers. So I grew up in a factory town, very poor, and working 80 hours a week was considered a badge of honor. People in my neighborhood were lucky to get past 60. And that's just because they were tired, they were burnt out. And then you go and you look at education. And I'll go by my first education job, which was about a decade ago. I worked at the legendary East Side. And if you're old like me, you've seen the movie from the 80s, Lean on Me, with Joe Clark. He would show up at the school at 6 in the morning, and he would leave 8, 9 at night. He was the first one there, last one out. That was his philosophy. That was the philosophy of many principals and many educators. You got there when the sun wasn't even up yet, and you went home when the sun was down. So it was dark both times you went in. And it was considered a badge of honor that you're putting this much time and dedication in. But you're doing a lot of unnecessary work during this time. You're grading papers when we have systems that can grade for you now, and then you can spend the time giving feedback rather than having to do both. Lesson plans, you have to set them up. Well, now there's systems where the foundation for the lesson plan's there, and then you can see what the kids are doing at checkpoints and put better lessons in. Either way, you're saving all this time, and I think that's the key. And you don't see your family. You hear about kids who have parents as educators and go, I see my dad on Sundays, I see my mom on Sundays, but they're grading papers while they're talking to us. You're an educator, you know exactly where I'm coming from. It's the life we choose, but why does it have to be like that? Let's have it both. And that's my goal, is over the last 8 months since I've left the classroom, I've trained myself, and you've heard it 100 times because I'll tell my story to anybody who listens.
It's true.
I've trained myself and the people around me of how we can make things easier, do it within 40 hours, make it substantial. So what I mean by that is it's quality over quantity. And just like our meetings right here, we're going to try to keep them at 10 minutes. That's our goal. 10 minutes, let's get it done. Let's say what we have to say, and let's move on to the next best thing in our life. So that's my why.
For me, again, it goes back to my why again is content. The content is what makes it work or not work. And the same thing is true in all aspects of life, including education. If you don't have something that meets all those points, then you can have all the tools in the world, pay as much money as you want to get the most upper class thing. If the content's not there, it doesn't matter. It's not going to work well. It's the same
Exactly.
thing as having a classroom without having a good teacher. Focusing on how to make the best outcome for the students is, again, making sure that you have all the tools you need. The right teacher, the right content. With those things put together, you get the right outcome. And so that's my why, is making sure that we can get all those things together. And how to do that, again, tech guy, is with data. So many curriculums out there are copy paste formulas that you can't really figure out whether or not somebody got anything out of it. Great, read this assignment. Okay, I read it. How did I know you read it? Well, because I said I read it. Well, you took 3 seconds. Well, how do you know I took 3 seconds? Because I looked at your login time and I saw that you only clicked the next button. You didn't actually answer anything. You didn't take the time to actually look at what was going on. I can see that you just skipped over stuff. And by having that data, when parents come back to you and go, why did my son or my daughter do bad in this class? They didn't put any time into it. I reached out to them. I looked at that. I saw that. I talked to them. And if you as a parent and me as an educator can work together, we can find that success for that student. The system, if you have the right systems in place, will take care of the grading. Get back to your family. Take care of the grading. Make sure the kids know what those responses are immediate. Everything's immediate nowadays. Why can't we get our grades immediately? So for me, that how is using the data paired with the curriculum or the content to get everything streamlined. Automate things that can be automated. That way that we can focus on the needs of those kids that actually have problems. Get back to teaching.
See, that's the tech. That's why we're both in this. The how, your technical version of the how goes with my version of the how. And my house build a relationship. You build a relationship with the student, the parents, the stakeholders, everybody involved. But while you're trying to build that relationship, you got to do 20,000 different things. Counselors want data, administrators want data, school boards want data. Why not do it all together, right? Because as a teacher, I'm a relationship builder. I'm there for the kid. In some cases, I'm the only person there for the kid. In other cases, I'm the mediator. I'm not your friend. I'm going to hold you accountable, but I'm also going to listen to you. You know, you treat me with respect. I'm going to treat you with respect. And if we can do that, that's how we're going to do this, is by combining the tech with the education of being a teacher and just put them together. So I'm going to leave everybody with one thing today. So when I started coaching down here in Texas, I had a coach, and he was the head football coach, but he was also the department chair, athletic coordinator. I'm sorry, there's a whole bunch of different names for athletic directors. He was the athletic coordinator, and he said to all of us, I'm going to leave you with one thing today. And that one thing is win the day. You know, win the day. What do you mean? At the end of the day, it's great. When your alarm goes off in the morning, you don't hit snooze. You get right up, and that'll start your day with a win. That's a positive. Set your alarm for the final snooze and get up, and that's a win. So that's the one lesson that I want to give today. If we can start with something, let's start with a little bit of time management. Okay, alarm goes off, I get up, I just won that battle. Now, we lost another battle, me and you, because we went over 10 minutes, which won't happen, but we had to explain what was going on. But I want everybody here, try it. Tell me if you do it. Win the battle. Do you have your watch, the phone, a clock, and the TV?
No, I just have a phone with 4 alarms. One where it's get me out of REM, one to get me to roll over, one to get into the shower, and then when I'm out of the shower, get your shirt on. I got alarms for everything.
We just showed our age. You do everything on your phone, and here I am with an actual clock, an actual watch, and writing all this down on paper. But on behalf of Jordan, I'm Joe. Everybody calls me Coach. We're going to see you guys bi-weekly, twice a month, and we're going to have some tips to help you not be that burnt out educator, even though it's day 3 in some states, it's week 3 in some states, and teachers are already pretty fried. So we're going to help them get through it. Jordan, thanks, buddy.
Thanks, Joe. It's going to be a good one.
All right.